Howdy mates, good late morning. How are we all doing? It is Sunday, April 16th, 2023, and I'm revisiting a park that I haven't been to for quite some time, and it's actually a local one at that. Here we are at the Sleeping Turtles Preserve, the northern portion, and what you're seeing alongside you is the one and only Myakka River. And as I can tell, it does look rather low right now, because you can actually clearly see some of the banks that are alongside the river itself. But it's a little bit of a warm one today, a little humid, definitely in the 80s right now, but it is tolerable. But part of the reason that I'm staying local today is I'm attending it's like a fundraising event for the Environmental Conservancy of Northport and surrounding areas, which is a nonprofit that uses donor money to purchase land parcels in those surrounding communities to preserve them for educational reasons, to save our wildlife, let them have a home in a sense, and to also preserve the different plant varieties that exist in our communities too. So that is owned by Barbara, and she does amazing work. So shout out to you, Barbara, for your nonprofit. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys later today. Anyway, point being, this video actually dedicates to a little bit of botany, because I'm sure you have noticed a lot of these flowers right here. So, for those of you wondering what it is we're looking at, some of you may already know, but for those of you who don't, we are looking at what is known as a partridge pea. Great example of a legume. So that basically means that they are part of the Fabaceae family, which basically means they produce peas as a result. And for another, they're also a great plant for these types of ecosystems because of their vast root network. They can actually help anchor the soil because, of course, majority of the soil here is very sandy. So it's not very what you call compact. But anyway, the partridge pea, it's not something you want to consume directly, especially the peas itself. They're actually highly toxic. So just keep that in mind if you're ever in such a situation. You don't want this to be your first source. But there you can actually see the pods themselves right there. And they do have their distinct yellow petals. And for another, this plant does have what is called nectaries. So they're little glands towards the base of each leaf. They kind of have like a orange-brown. I don't know if you can see it that well. Okay, maybe it's on the flower here. See a little bit of that orange-brown? That's what produces a bit of that nectar. So, nectar is, of course, a sugar source that is needed as a food source for our wildlife. Especially for our pollinators in particular. And these are also self-seeding plants too. So they can release their seed and then sprout the next generation. So it's a great plant to incorporate even in your yard as well. But just make sure that, your pets, for example, don't graze on the seeds in particular. Those are what are toxic, but the rest of the plant is mostly edible. So, or I could even say the seeds are only edible once. Plot twist. But yes, I'm glad to see that this park has now reopened, just because for a long while it wasn't. But personally, I think in my opinion, I do like the Myakka River a little more than the Peace. Just because there's a lot of parts in the upriver of the Peace that seems a little developed. And unfortunately, Mosaic has reached several parts of that river, unfortunately. But unlike the Myakka, I think it's one of the only untouched rivers in this part of Southwest Florida that remains a little more what you call primitive. But yeah, Sleeping Turtles Preserve, it's a Sarasota County park, so if you haven't been, I would absolutely recommend. So, all right, you guys, enjoy your weekend, and Journey on a Journey is onwards. Take care, folks. See ya.